The week has been really arduous. Um, we've been through a lot of switching and a lot of crashes. Um, I really don't know where to begin. It's been one of those things of one kind of thing after another. And um, we've learned that even with a counselor, not every counselor is good for you, and that sometimes they they aren't the right match. We've discovered this the hard way. Um, the counselor that we have, the primary one, has done things that has been very destructive to the psyche. Trigger warnings. So heads up. Um, the stuff that was done caused us to regress so hard that we were literally melting down. Nobody could come to the surface without being in some sort of state of crazy. Um, so it's been a hard road. Um, when we went back to talk to this counselor through the phone calls, we were informed that we were to continue to do what we'd been doing. Again, trigger warning. This counselor asked us to, instead of do the things that we usually use to cope because they felt what we were doing, how we were coping was wrong, or it was an excessive, that they just wanted us to not do those things and instead just let the panic attacks come and see how that happened. Well, I am a ragged mess. Everybody in the headspace is a ragged mess because of following orders, which is good because they need to know that you're willing, if you're seeking help, that you're willing to do what it takes to get the help. But again, not every counselor is a good match or has stuff that will actually work. This one has left us in a state of wrecked damage. We're already pretty fragile from prior splits, but this one took the cake. So our advice to you, for those watching, is it's pretty simple. If it doesn't sit right, weigh it, check it in with each of your alters, and if it's a match, if the therapy that's being offered or the advice being given feels good, feels right, then do it. If it doesn't, test it just a little bit to be sure, and then if it doesn't work out, do not continue. Do not continue, because the first rule of a doctor, be they mental health or physical health, is they are supposed to do what is best for you and your body. And if they're not, if in turn you are ending up being an experiment, or you are ending up being torn apart, what they're doing is not helping at all. And it is completely opposite of what the oath they all swear is for. So we continued to do what we'd been told to do, and it continued to unravel us and tear us apart. And then in the middle of all of it, they wanted us to write how we were doing in the middle of the panic attacks, in the middle of the anxiety attacks. For those of us who have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, that's not possible. That is not something that is like saying, well, you're in the middle of a sinking ship, but go ahead and try to repair it while you're sinking. That's going to work out for you. It's been a hard week. It's been a hard couple of weeks. It's been a hard 2 weeks. I'm dreading talking to the counselor, so I don't think I'm going to. And if I think I'm going to, then the others in the headspace are going to ensure that I don't. So, as I said, remember, first and foremost, Your mental health, your physical health is something that if you have medical professionals helping you with, it is their job to do what's healthy for you. But if it is not healthy, if it is harming you in any way, do not follow those orders. Instead, talk to them. If they aren't able to see what's going on or acknowledge what you're explaining to them, then you need to seek another professional who can help. Now, right now, that is both easier said than done and not easy at all. It's a good time to be seeking medical help via the telehealth, but it's also difficult because everybody who is in the medical fields are really weighed down because everybody needs help. So when you go to have a counselor, if you have a counselor, or if you're struggling with your counselor, remember they're struggling too. Some of them have a caseload of 60 to 80 people. Some of them have smaller caseloads. You don't know what your doctor has caseload wise. You don't know what your counselor has caseload wise. So part of it is being as sensitive to your own needs as it is to theirs, even if they don't know that that's what you're doing. Self-care, you gotta do that. I'm in the state of relearning self-care right now. I talked to my other counselor who has been exceedingly a miracle in all cases, but I can't be without this counselor if I switch out. I can't keep this counselor if I switch out the other one. So lesser of two evils. But that said, this counselor is a good person, has guided me through steps, told me that I've done everything that was required of me to not go any further, instead of it continuing to destroy me, to start rebuilding my boundaries, to start getting myself back together to do self-care. And when you're in a state of mind where you have literally decomposed, that's a really, really long climb out of a very deep well. So, mindful of yourselves, mindful of those, who are helping you medically, physically, mentally, etc. And you know you best. No one can tell you whether or not you are dealing with stuff in your head or stuff in your body. You know you better than anybody else. Even a hypochondriac knows themselves better than anybody else. So it's been a long week. I am not okay. None of the ones in my headspace are okay. But we will be. So, thoughts of the day, please take care, and we'll see you on the next video.